Hi, everyone, and welcome. We'll get started in just a minute or so. Just going to take a moment and let folks make sure they're accessing the Zoom and everyone's able to join. If you like, you can go ahead and share in the Q&A where you're joining from. And if there's any specific questions you have for today's presentation ahead of time, you could go ahead and ask those. Just a few more moments, making sure everyone's accessing us here. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is Flourish, the Compassionate Schools Project curriculum for grade levels 4 and 5. And this is the third in a series. So we've been doing, on Tuesday, I did K to 1. Yesterday, I did 2 to 3. And today is 4 to 5. So you're welcome. Even if you haven't joined the other sessions, it will all make sense. If you were able to join the other sessions, then you'll just see some of the differences across the grade level bands. Before we really get into our program today, I just wanted to make sure we acknowledge all the folks who contributed and supported to get this curriculum out into the world. Of course, our authors are the amazing Tish Jennings and equally amazing Alexis Harris. And the curriculum came out of the Compassionate Schools Project, but that work was also supported by Sonia Klein-Jones, the Hemora Foundation, the University of Virginia, and us at Pure Edge. And if you're on our webinar list, you probably know a little bit about us, but we are a private operating foundation, and we provide direct service to organizations through professional development and strategy thought partnership. And my name is Erin. I am the Director of Curriculum and Instruction here at Pure Edge. I'm also a national trainer. And I've been working closely on this Flourish project. So I'm happy to be able to share some of the information about the curriculum with you all today. So again, thanks so much for joining. And today our objectives are simple. We're going to explore the 4 to 5 grade level band. We're going to look at some of the topics and the lesson components, and I'm going to walk you through the website because I want to make sure you're able to access all of the free resources that are available to you and that will support you as you get started implementing this work. So for our opening activity, because here at Pure Edge, we always like to make sure our webinars are experiential and that we're not only talking about the strategies and practices that we share, but we're also participating in them. So this exercise comes from the 4 to 5 curriculum, although I might modify it a little bit. Sorry, so I wanted to get something, my notes. I might modify the activity a little bit just to make it appropriate for adults. So as we get started, just take a moment and take a look around your space. Just notice where you are. You can kind of turn your head from one side, maybe turn your head to the other side, just taking a glance around. And then find a comfortable sitting position. So if you can find, if you're sitting on a chair, you want both feet on the ground. If you're sitting on the floor, you can just kind of be relaxed. If it feels good to you to have eyes open, you can have your eyes open. If it's more calming for you to close your eyes, go ahead and close your eyes. Okay, and just take a gentle breath in through the nose and a gentle breath out. And I'm going to invite you to use your imagination. Okay, so go ahead and use your imagination to picture all of your friends, all of the friends you have right now. Picture them standing in front of you, or maybe you're picturing them in a circle or a semicircle around you. And this can include your closest friends and friends that you only connect with from time to time. Notice what these friends look like. And notice how you feel when you see them. Now think of your friends from a previous time in your life. Maybe it's from an old neighborhood or community that you were a part of. Maybe friends from a different workplace, or friends from a course or a training that you took. And imagine all of those friends standing behind the friends you've already pictured. And now think of all of your friends from your whole entire life. Your childhood friends, your schoolmates, maybe friends from college. And add those friends into your circle. As you see all of these friends, notice how you feel. And imagine that each and every one of these friends is giving you kindness, care, and support. And even if your friendships have changed or even ended, imagine all the kindness that they gave you still supporting you now. It's taking a couple of breaths here. And noticing how you feel with the support of all of these friends. And when you're ready, if you closed your eyes, you can go ahead and open them. Coming back into our session. And if you like to share a response, go ahead and share a response in the Q&A. Thank you for taking that time to do that exercise with me. So today, again, we're talking about the 4 to 5 Flourish curriculum. And you can see that it's a comprehensive program. We have the full curriculum manual, and in this curriculum, there are 7 units of lessons. To go along with the manual, we have a student workbook, and we have a teacher resource manual. And we also have a practice guide and a practice deck. So all of those are supports that are really designed to make it as simple as possible for you to implement the curriculum. The curriculum components, the curriculum covers core social and emotional competencies. So each unit 1, the topic is compassion. And then from there, each unit builds on a specific social and emotional competency area. So we go through self-awareness, self-management, relationship skills, parts 1 and 2. And I think I'm leaving one out, but the 7th unit of the curriculum is always a compassion project, which is a way for the kids to, think about how to extend the compassion that they've been working on and cultivating both in themselves and in their classroom. How can they extend that wider into either the school community or the community at large? Every lesson is going to include mindful movement and physical activity. Every lesson also includes mindful awareness practices. And the topics over time include skills and mindsets for lifelong health. And this includes, our ability to do things like speak kindly to ourselves, to be able to understand and appreciate the different perspectives of others, as well as in each unit, there's at least one lesson that touches on nutrition and kind of becoming aware of the qualities of the foods that we eat and how those can affect us. The Flourish curriculum has been researched. So the gold standard of research is that randomized controlled trial. And the curriculum was studied to that standard. So there were 43 elementary schools in the study. About half of the schools received the intervention and about half did not. They tracked the results over 2 years' time. And they saw that implementing Flourish led to greater social self-efficacy. And social self-efficacy is really a child's confidence in their ability to solve social problems. Right? So kids felt better about their own abilities to interact. Greater perceived peer support. So that means that the children felt like their classroom communities were more caring and supportive. These were the children, of course, who had participated in the program. Greater attention control. And then these last 2 results, greater pro-social behavior and fewer conduct problems. These results were seen in the high poverty schools. So there was a greater effect on the high poverty schools on pro-social behavior and conduct problems. So all this is to say is that the evidence shows that this curriculum does have an impact when implemented as described. When we think about cultivating compassion in our schools and community, of course, it's helpful to know what that means. So compassion means to show care or kindness when someone is in need. Now, we talked, on Tuesday about how we introduced the topic of compassion with the young learners through a playful, moving story time. And yesterday we talked about how with the grades 2 to 3, they introduced the topic of compassion through a few different stories where the kids are able to kind of interact with the characters and understand what the characters' needs are. Now you can see the developmental lens that the curriculum writers had when we look at the 4 to 5 method of introducing compassion. So I'm sure if you're of a certain age, you'll recognize the lyrics of this song. And I was going to ask folks to name that tune and share in the Q&A, but then I realized that it's pretty visible on the slide. So these are the lyrics of the song Lean on Me. And oops, I didn't mean to do that. So for Lean on Me, the first day of class, the teacher plays the song for the kids, right? So for 4th and 5th graders, you can see that this is a really age-appropriate way to get them thinking and get them creative. So you play the song for the kids, you hand out some Post-it notes, and you have the kids write one word on each Post-it note, just something that the song evokes. And then they can go up to the board or the whiteboard or, whatever, is available in the classroom, and they start to sort of group their Post-it notes by category and kind of cluster the ones that connect. And so I just thought this was a really beautiful way to get the kids thinking and talking about compassion using music, giving them some time to self-reflect, but then also working as a group. And then over time, kind of lesson by lesson, the curriculum, uses that song to get even a little more detailed into, like when is it difficult to show compassion and how can we create a compassionate community? And the song is sort of a thread that weaves through the first unit. Now, again, we know that compassion is not just a feeling that we have, it's also a skill that we can teach and we can grow with practice. And one of the key methods in the curriculum is really using mindfulness and mindful awareness practices to help kids build that skill and kind of, build on that skill. So I thought this would be a nice example. Now we do check-ins at every grade level band. So there's a check-in for K to 1, there's check-in for 2 to 3, but I thought the way that we're introducing the practice of the check-in for the 4th and 5th graders is really nice in that it ties into the theme of compassion. So you can see the instructions are here. I took these right from the curriculum. Just like you would check in on a friend to see if they are okay or if they need anything, we should also check in with ourselves. We don't always know what we need. So it's important to pause and ask ourselves, how am I? What do I need? Am I okay? Mindfulness will help you do that. Right? So we're introducing some of these skills and strategies in, very kid-friendly language, giving it a frame they can understand, and, really introducing them to this idea that checking in with themselves is an important skill and practice to cultivate. Okay, so this is the time in the webinar where we hop off of my slide deck and I'm going to take you over to our website and show you how to access some of the resources. You can also, you can type into your browser pureedgeinc.org, or you can scan this QR code that will bring you to the page where you can create a curriculum account. Of course, if you already have a Pure Edge account, you can just access the curriculum using the account that you already have. Okay, wish me luck. And let's see. Okay, I think this is right. Okay. here we are. We're on the Pure Edge homepage. And I like to scroll down to the youth curriculum section. You can also just click this curriculum button right here. And you can even access the curriculum through this youth tab up here, but this is my preferred method, so I'll show you the way I like to go. And then you just click on Flourish. You'll get a little preview. So you see a little blurb about the curriculum. These are some of the components of the curriculum. And then you just click on View Curriculum. Right? And then here you can select a language. So for Flourish is available in English and Spanish. So you can select either of those. I'm going to stay with English for today. And then you click on Flourish Curriculum. And here we are. It describes our partnership a little bit. And since today we're doing 4 to 5, you click on that grade level band. And then you can see the downloads, right? So you can download the full curriculum. You can go unit by unit if maybe you wanted to focus on one of the skill areas. There's workbooks and guides, and there's a video library. So let's see, real quick, I will just show you. Oops, this looks like the wrong grade level. Sorry, that was kindergarten. I'm gonna do, you can tell because they're different colors. So this is unit 1 for 4 to 5. And so you can see this is just like the unit overview page. So in this unit, students will learn to recognize their own and others' needs for compassion, right? And it goes on from there. The essential questions that each get addressed in different lessons. What is compassion? How can I show myself compassion? Why is it sometimes difficult to show compassion? And how can I help create a compassionate community? And then, let's see. This is a lesson overview. Sorry to be scrolling. I hope it's not too hard to follow. So then we get into the lesson 1. Each lesson's going to have a goal statement, an essential question, and an I can statement. And then from there, you see the list of new movements for every lesson, the learning objectives, what materials you might need, what preparation or setup might need to be done, and a list of the mindful moments that are included in this lesson. And then we just have the lesson. So I'm going to hop off of here. And the other thing I wanted to show you on the website was the video page. So I clicked on videos. And from here, you can see we have some overview videos, just an overall introduction to the whole Flourish approach, some unit-specific videos, which are really informative. And I think if you are implementing, I encourage you to check those out. And then finally, you can see the mindful movement animations. And I have one of these in our presentation that I'm going to show you now. So I'm going to stop my share and I'm going to share again. Let's see, this looks like it. So the one I want to share is the Fresh Start Sequence Part 1. And if there's folks who have been on the call every time, I want to explain, I've used this video each time because it works online. Some of the other ones have some floor movements that are, they're doable online, but they're just a little more complicated. So I want to make sure you know that we have other wonderful videos to share, but this is the one that works the best for this format. So from here, I'm going to invite you to join. So go ahead and stand up. You want to be in a comfortable standing position, and you want to have a little room so that you can bend forward. Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and give the video a play.
Starting mountain, standing tall, breathing in and out. Inhale, arms up for sunrise. Exhale, fold forward, sunset. Inhale, hands on your shins, look forward for monkey. Exhale, sunset. Inhale all the way up, sunrise. And exhale, mountain.
Okay, so that, get my camera back on. Okay. And one of the features that I love about that version of the video is that it has ASL interpretation. And so we just really want to make this work accessible to as many learners as we can. So when we think about, doing this, implementing this curriculum that is a compassion-based curriculum, it's not only about skill building for the kids. That's one aspect, but we're really also trying to cultivate compassionate school communities. And so there's some methods embedded in the curriculum for that. And one of the suggestions is to have a compassion board, right? So this is like a visual in your classroom or in the hallway if you don't have a classroom, where, kids can record and track, acts of compassion that they have observed. There's all different ways you can do it. And as you can see, it's going to look different in different places, but it's really a way to communicate that compassion is something that is a value in your school and in your classroom community. And then, sometimes the kids see it and then they get excited about it and they want to start doing more compassionate things and, really looking for opportunities to show and demonstrate compassion. And then, as I mentioned early in the webinar, we also, Unit 7 of every grade level band of the curriculum encourages a compassion project. And at the 4th and 5th grade level, it's exciting because I think the kids are really able to plan and participate and envision these projects, take some ownership of them. So it's a fun way to, again, broaden that circle of compassion to include not just the individual, not just the members of their class, but, either finding ways to contribute to the whole school community or even beyond the school community into the local neighborhood. It's really fun to see what the kids can do and what they come up with. Okay, so when we think about implementing, we recognize that every educator is coming, with different circumstances and different resources available to them. So there's lots of different ways you can approach implementation of the Flourish curriculum. And there is an integration guide that was created to help folks adapt the curriculum to their setting. So that's a resource that, if you need some support in integrating Flourish into your specific setting, reach out and we'd be happy to connect with you. One way that sometimes it can work is that a PE teacher or a dance teacher or a specialist would deliver the mindful movement portion of the curriculum, and then the classroom teacher might focus on some of the supporting activities and stories and things like that. So there's ways to deliver the curriculum across contexts. It's also possible that, one educator has the time and just delivers the full lesson weekly. However you choose to deliver, we recommend consistency. So when kids are learning these strategies and these practices, it really works the best if it becomes integrated into the rhythm of their life at school. So it's not something that is going to be as successful if it's done as a one-off. It's something that's going to work really well if it's done regularly. So whether that's once a week or every day for 2 weeks, or however you imagine it, but the more regular and the more repetition that happens, then kids have time to connect with the concepts and like grow and develop with the strategies. And it would be remiss of me not to note that when we are delivering this work with the kids, it's going to be the most effective when we include ourselves in that circle of compassion. So, continuing to prioritize your own well being, integrating some of the self compassion exercises for yourself, um, participating in the mindfulness strategies with the kids, that's going to make you a more effective educator. It's going to make you better able to deliver and connect to the kids on these skills and practices. Because, kids recognize our authenticity and they recognize when we're speaking from the heart and when we're speaking from our own experience. So we encourage you to, keep yourself in that circle of compassion. Okay, thank you for all you do. Happy Teacher Appreciation Week. We appreciate you.